Hey folks, so I wanted to make this video to talk about how one should spend their money on chess. There's probably never been a better time to work on your chess overall. I mean, all the content that you need to really reach your full potential is already out there. All the books, courses, sites, everything already exists. And with most of the world basically being quarantined right now, I'm guessing you probably have more free time than usual to work on your chess. So for many chess players, it's not really a matter of motivation. They love the game, they want to get better and improve. It's really a matter of not knowing how to spend your time and your money. In fact, with so much material currently out there, and a lot of it being very good, a lot of it being virtually free, it's actually a little bit overwhelming. We have this paralysis of choice where we don't really know what we should be working on. We know we should be playing, we should be solving exercises, we should be reading books and learning from top players and going through courses, but how much time should we be spending on stuff and what exactly we should be doing, that is basically really unclear, and as a result, people end up doing a lot less than they could because they feel like, well, if I'm not doing the right thing, let me try to figure out the perfect training plan, and as a result, very little actually ends up getting done. So in this video, I just want to give kind of my honest take and review on some of the major courses and sites out there, how you should be approaching things using your time and, of course, your money, and I kind of want to take it from a few different perspectives. Number one, you're the average player. You have some money to spend, but you obviously don't want to break the bank. And any money you do spend, you want to make sure that it's going towards the most effective method of chess improvement. Number two, money is not really a concern for you. You can afford basically anything. Congratulations. But you still have very limited time, and no one likes spending their money on something that they know they're not going to end up using. So we're not really going to be concerned about the cost of anything, but rather whether something is actually going to be effective and useful for your overall chess. And number three, I know there are tons of people out there who basically have no money to spend on chess, but still really love the game and want to improve. And I think right now you're basically living in the best possible time because there are so many free resources out there, free content, and I'll try to go over how exactly you should structure your training plan so that you can still really work hard on your chess without actually spending anything. So first, let's talk about some chess websites. I have always treated chess.com and chess24 as actually very, very similar to one another. You can both play on the site, you can solve puzzles, and their main kind of draw for their premium membership is their video library. However, I think their videos are very, very different, and I would recommend them to different players. Basically, if you're anywhere in the range of up to 2,000, then I think you can greatly benefit from chess.com's library. Now, for the past couple of years, chess.com has really been focusing more on the esports side of things, putting a lot of time and resources into Twitch and the Speed Chess Championship and all these things. But I guess what many players don't know is that their video library is actually very, very extensive and is worth, hundreds and hundreds of hours of your chess time. A lot of their more recent videos have been a little bit clickbaity. I hope they don't mind me saying that, but it's like Magnus Carlsen's best 5 moves and all this stuff that is interesting, but maybe not super helpful for your chess. But if you dig deep and look into some of their older videos, they have tons of amazing and very, very instructional content from very high level GM coaches, Kaidanov, Shanklin, Dejan Bochkov. I've done a bunch of videos for chess.com. My colleagues on this channel, David Pruis, Jesse Cry, they've done a bunch of great videos. Simon Williams, Ben Feingold, Yermolinsky. I mean, they literally have hours and hours of very, very instructional material. It's just that it's kind of buried. It can be a little bit hard to search for, but if you search by categories or if you know exactly which video author you're interested in, you can find tons of material that will be useful for you for basically all levels, maybe up to 2200. Although personally, when I was around 2200, I was still watching chess.com videos and learning quite a bit from them. Now, chess.com has a couple of memberships and they have different options whether you pay monthly or yearly. Usually yearly membership is going to be the most cost effective, And I am always confused why someone would choose the monthly membership. Unless you just want to try things out for 1 month, I think that's fine. But if you know that you love chess and are really interested, there's a good chance you're still going to be motivated a year from now. And in that sense, it really makes a lot of sense to go for the yearly membership. You usually get some kind of discount on it, and you don't even have to worry about it, month to month. Oh, am I going to pay for next month or not? You kind of just decide, commit to it, and you know exactly what you're going to work on. So their yearly membership is usually around $100. Chess24, I think, is slightly more expensive. Their regular price is around $130 for the year, but they typically do a lot of discounts, especially during top events. For instance, during YConZ, during the candidates, they usually run promotions and offer a discount. They have this new super tournament coming up, like the Magnus Carlsen Invitational. Seems like some kind of online tournament that's coming up in maybe less than 2 weeks or so. I bet they're going to run a promotion during that, and you can save a little bit of money on their premium membership as well. So for Chess24, I feel like their video courses are very, very good. In fact, I think they're more geared towards the advanced player, kind of, let's say 1800 plus would probably get more benefit out of some of their higher end courses versus kind of the average lower level player. But if you're someone in that 1800 plus range, I think you're really doing yourself a disservice by not having a Chess24 premium membership. Again, it's around $100 for the whole year. You get access to all of their video courses. Now, they do sell these courses as kind of standalone products. You can buy them for like usually $15, $20 a piece. I think this is worth trying if there's only one course you're interested in, one opening, for example, then you might think about just getting that one. But if you're a pretty ambitious player and you want to work on your chess a lot, well, in addition to the opening courses, they also have tons of instructional courses from guys like Dvoretsky, Yusupov. Carlsen has started doing courses for them now. They truly have, not unlimited, but they have more material than you'll probably be able to watch, within a full year. And when we're talking about like $100, it's only slightly more than like your average one-on-one lesson. And we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of hours of video content that if you take it seriously and you follow along, you're not on your phone, you're not multitasking while you're watching it. A lot of times this video content is just as good as a private lesson in terms of just learning the material. Now, coaching, I would say, is definitely going to be a more effective way to improve your chess, but coaching is also the most expensive way, and I'll talk a little bit about that toward the end of this video as to whether coaching is the right thing for you and whether it's something that you should be pursuing. Chess.com and Chess24, they also have their tactics trainers, which are unlimited if you go for their most premium membership. I'm not going to talk about this too much just because I think you can get a tactics trainer almost anywhere. There are so many sites where you can do free tactics, for example. There are a bunch of apps as well. So in my opinion, it really doesn't matter where you do these online tactics. You can just do them on whatever site you end up on. Next, let's talk about Chessable. So personally, I really like Chessable. I think it's a brilliant website. It's just great for overall chess improvement, not just for learning openings, but I think it's also really good for endgames and just basic chess content, learning tactics and strategy and everything else. Now, Chessable will mainly sell standalone courses. And I think if you're just interested in buying one book or one course, especially an opening book, then Chessable is probably the way to go. And they have quite a few free courses as well. So if you haven't used Chessable yet and you're not sure if it's worth the money, then I strongly recommend you make a free account, try one of their free courses, and see how you like it. A lot of people really enjoy and have success with it, but I doubt that'll be everyone's experience. So like with most things, I think the solid advice here is to try something out before you commit some money to it. Now, Chessable also has their pro membership. It basically comes with some bonus features. You get more slots for your courses. I think you can share more courses. The most valuable benefit, I would say, is the difficult moves function, where it will track how you study through the different courses, and if you get certain moves wrong or you often miss certain moves, it'll kind of put those in a little separate package, and then you can study those again and again and kind of work out your weak spots. So long story short, if you're a power user for Chessable, I think then it's probably worth it to get the pro membership because the benefits are nice. But if you're someone who uses it infrequently, you only have 1 or 2 courses on there, or you're mainly relying just on the free courses, then the pro membership is probably not worth it for you. Next, let's talk about Chessbase Accounts. So Chessbase is a standalone software, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later on in the video. But if you go to chessbase.com, they also have this membership type thing where you log in online. It works very similar to chess.com or chess24. I imagine most people don't know too much about it, but it is actually a pretty good value. I think they have different memberships, like a basic and an advanced one. The advanced one, again, comes with their full library of videos. And once again, I think these videos are very undervalued, underutilized, but one of the most cost-effective things you can do to work on your chess, because they have some amazing authors. They have tons and tons of content, basically more than you can ask for, more than you can go through. But even if you're only spending a couple hours per week working on it, $50 a year or whatever it may be is very, very cost effective in terms of how much time you're actually going to be spending watching their videos, going through their lessons, and improving your chess through that method. I also want to mention Chess Tempo. A lot of players really love Chess Tempo. They've had tons of success. It was originally more of just a tactics site, but in the last couple of years they've branched out and now they have endgame stuff, opening training, and you could do a lot of your chess training just through Chess Tempo alone. Personally, I've never loved their interface, and I've always found their tactical problems a little bit too computerized for me and not really organized in the best way. So I never had a great experience on Chess Tempo, but I know a lot of other players have, and a lot of prodigies give credit to Chess Tempo as to how they got so good tactically so quickly. Their premium membership is similarly priced to kind of everything else I've talked about so far, and I would say it's worth checking out. If it's something that you really are interested in, then it might be worth it just to get their premium membership and focus on your training using that site only. Another site I quickly want to mention is 365chessacademy.com. This is a very new site that's basically composed of a team of super coaches. You have RB Ramesh, who's taught almost every top Indian junior in the last couple of years. You have Jacob Aggard, who's known worldwide and extremely successful coach and author, as well as a number of other grandmaster coaches. And what they're doing is basically offering live lessons for a pretty hefty price. I think their membership is something like $450 to $500 for the full year. But for that price, you do get tons of video coaching. They do these live lessons where people log in. I think they use Zoom, and they basically have different types of lessons. They have some tactical training, some opening stuff, middle game classes, end games. I think they offer a pretty balanced package. So the main drawback there is just the price. $500 is a lot of money for most people, but if you attend a lot of their classes, really comes down to something like under $10 a class, $5. If you really start attending a lot of them. I believe they record their sessions, so even if you can't show up to a live training, you can then watch it later. You can interact on their forum. I think they have like a Facebook group. Ultimately, it seems like a really fantastic value. It's just that if you have time for it and if you can put down that bulk cost up front, then I think it could really be some of the most cost-effective training out there right now. If you're not able to spend the full $500 up front, I believe they have some options for scheduled payments where you can just make segments of the payment every couple of months or something. I'm not really sure on their current details, but I'll leave all the links to the sites we've talked about below, and you can check them out and see some of their current pricing options. And lastly, there's Lichess. So Lichess is a free site. I believe it's 100% free. You can play on it as much as you want. They also have their own database of tactics problems. I don't really love their database because similar to, I think, Chess Tempo, they use computers to kind of generate problems. And in my opinion, those computer generated problems, while they are interesting, they're not always the most instructive or thematic. But that said, Lichess is 100% free. So if you use Lichess, if you're on it, I think it's definitely worth it if you're not wanting to spend a lot of money on chess. That said, if you do use it a lot and you have a little bit of cash, I would recommend making a donation to them to make sure that they're able to keep their site running. As far as I'm aware, they're 100% reliant on people's donations. You can donate one time, you can donate monthly. And so if you have a couple of bucks every month that you're not using and you do frequently play on Lichess and you like their site and you want their site to keep going, then I think that would be a valid way to spend a couple of bucks a month just to keep supporting the site that we kind of all use and love. Next, I want to quickly talk about some apps and software. So on my personal YouTube channel, I made a video about Chessbase, talking about whether buying Chessbase, the software, which is typically around $100, is worth it and who should be buying it. So I'll leave that video in the description below so you can see my full thoughts on Chessbase. But long story short, if you're an advanced player, maybe in the range of 1800 plus or 2000 plus, and you're interested in working on your own openings and saving all of your games and your analysis, then I think Chessbase is just one of the best products out there. I think it's not a surprise that virtually all top players and almost every player I've met above 2200 owns Chessbase and uses it for their daily chess training. So if you're already a very advanced player and you're very ambitious, I think that Chessbase is basically the best product or software out there for you. It is kind of expensive up front, $100, but I mean, personally, I've gotten years of use out of it, as have many other players, and ultimately I think it's very much worth it. Now, if you're not in that advanced range and you also want to work on your openings, I don't think Chessbase is really necessary for you. You can utilize the study feature on Lichess and create your own databases, and I think you can get all of the opening knowledge you need either out of Chessable, their courses, or Chess24 also has some very good courses, as well as your typical opening book will be virtually enough for you to kind of build your repertoire and give you enough information to get you to be able to play an opening effectively at your level. There are also lots of chess apps out there. I haven't used many of them, so I really can't comment on how effective they are. But one company that I think basically does the best apps specifically for tactics and tactical training is this company called ChessKing. I believe this is the company behind the software CT Art, which has been very popular for many years. They've since converted CT Art into app form, so you can now get it on your Android or Apple device or on your tablet. And CT Art, as well as some of the derivations, like they have one that's called Chess Tactics for Beginners. They have one called CT Art 1400 through 1600. Basically, all these apps are designed in the same way. They just have a different problem set in them, and so they're made for different levels. If you're an advanced player, then I think CT Art 4.0 is where you should go. If you're a beginner player, definitely Chess Tactics for Beginners. And then if you're somewhere in that intermediate range, I would say anywhere between 1200 and 2000, I would go for one of their mid-range apps, CT Art 1400 through 1600. Now these apps are free to download and try. The full version, where you get access to all of their puzzles without any ads or anything like that, is usually something like $7 to $8 per app, which I think is just an incredible value given that most of these apps have something like 1,200 to 2,000 puzzles. But really what I like about the apps is just that the way they're structured, all of the problems are organized by theme. So you have things like deflection, decoy, pins, forks, skewers, and things like that. And I think when they're organized by theme, you really get a better sense of pattern recognition, and it's really a great way to improve your patterns overall. A lot of the online tactics trainers will usually kind of give you random tactics, which I think is useful as a kind of warm-up, and it's good tournament preparation because in a tournament game, you never know what kind of tactic you're going to get. But when it comes to like building tactical knowledge and building your kind of foundational tactical understanding, I actually think the best approach is to solve tactics by theme, so that you're kind of seeing the same theme in multiple problems in a row. I think this is how you really build up those patterns in your chess knowledge. I also like that these apps, if you try a problem out and you don't solve it on the first try. They won't just give you the solution, they'll actually give you multiple tries to solve the problem. They might even give you a little bit of a hint, highlighting a key square or drawing some kind of arrow to show you what you're supposed to be looking at. Because I think this is a much better way to work on your tactics rather than the typical system of you get one chance to get it right. If you get it wrong, they immediately dock points, and then you have the option to just see the solution. I don't really like this method. I think you should try multiple times before giving up on a tactic. And so ultimately, I just really like how these apps are structured. So now let's talk about chess books. Books are probably some of the best value you can get if you're just going to buy an individual course or product. Books are typically somewhere under $30 and will be worth tons and tons of hours for you in terms of chess study. Just for example, I have this book here by Johan Helstein, Mastering Chess Strategy. This is one of my favorite chess books overall, and I think right now it's something like $27 on Amazon, which is a little bit on the pricier end. The Kindle version is around $10, so you can always go the ebook route and get stuff for a little bit cheaper. But you basically, you buy the book for $27. It has hundreds and hundreds of pages of content in there. I think it's like a 500-page book. There's hundreds of instructional examples, hundreds of exercises. It'll take you months to go through the whole book, and by the end of it, you'll have definitely learned a ton for what seems to me to be a very small price up front. And I feel like most chess books are kind of like this. They're essentially a great value. The problem is that people just don't have enough time, and they end up not going through the book after buying them, or they buy too many books and then don't go through any of them, or they only read a small portion and then ultimately don't get the full value that they could have out of that book. So while books are extremely cost effective, I think the bigger issue is that players don't follow through and don't actually read the whole book, and as a result, they don't get all of the benefits that they could be getting. That said, I think you're almost never going to go wrong with studying chess books. I'll leave you guys a full list of my recommendations, again, linked in the description. And I guess the main thing to keep in mind is that, for most of chess history, there was no such thing as chess.com or chess24. I mean, there weren't even computers, to help with your chess training. So most of the world's grandmasters grew up on chess books. And so even if you never logged in online and all you had to study were chess books, you could absolutely reach your full potential as a chess player. So I think that's something that we really shouldn't forget about. Like, some of the best training already exists and has existed for many, many years. All you have to do is get the right books, set up the pieces on a physical board, and just read. Just spend your time reading the book, and you'll become a much, much better chess player out of that. So now I want to quickly talk about chess coaching, which is by far the most expensive form of chess training, arguably the most effective as well. A lot of players go the route of hiring a private coach to work with them, usually 1 hour a week, 1 hour every 2 weeks. And I think the main thing with coaching, why it's considered so effective, is that it really tackles perhaps the hardest part of chess improvement, which is not necessarily learning ideas, but rather reflecting on your games and your abilities. Usually the point of chess coaching is to identify weaknesses and find biases in your play, places where your thought process is not right, and then guide you towards how to exactly work on your chess. Because chess improvement is not just about studying and just learning a list of ideas, 1 through 100. It's also about playing the game and learning how to react to your opponent's plans, coming up with your own plans, being able to calculate in complex situations, make difficult decisions, understanding where your pieces go. Chess is obviously a very difficult and complicated game, and there are many, many places where players can go wrong, and I guess the key thing is not realizing where exactly they're going wrong in a game. Now, if you end up blundering a piece in some bad position, of course you can say, oh, I shouldn't have made that blunder, but it really gets deeper than that, because you were already in a difficult situation, you'd already misplayed the position, and it's oftentimes very difficult on your own to kind of analyze your games and figure out exactly what you should have done differently, why you misplayed the position, what kind of resources you should be studying, which players you should study, which games you should be looking at to kind of improve your overall understanding and knowledge of the game. We'll definitely be making more videos on this channel about this idea of game analysis and how to review your games, so definitely stay tuned for that. But my official opinion on coaching, I think probably matches a lot of strong players out there. It's very, very expensive, but it's probably the most effective way of really working and improving your chess. So if you can afford a chess coach, that's probably the best way to go. They'll break down your games and tell you exactly what you need to work on. Really saves you a lot of time and energy in terms of figuring out how you need to improve your chess. But ultimately, I feel like if you can't afford it, it's definitely not a deal breaker. You can still become a very, very good chess player. I think you can still reach your full potential, even if you never work with an official coach. So lastly, I want to talk about how you can maximize your chess potential while not spending a dime and just relying on the free stuff. And again, you're in luck. There has literally never been a better time to improve your chess without spending money. There are now so many free resources and videos out there that you can spend all of your time just on YouTube, for example, or on Twitch and really get the most out of it. So specifically, you can play on Lichess. I believe you can also play on chess.com and chess24 for free. This is virtually unlimited. So you can always find a game against strong players and you can play as much as you need to online in order to improve your skills. But then when it comes to actual studying, there are tons of channels on YouTube that I think are really instructional. I'll name a few. Hopefully I don't offend anyone if I leave you guys out. But places like the St. Louis Chess Club have really instructive videos. John Bartholomew has a really good channel. Ben Feingold, Eric Rosen, Chess Network. I would say my personal channel has some good videos on there. ChessDojo, we're just basically starting up now, but we're planning on releasing a lot of videos that are going to be very educational on how to improve your chess, work on your chess. And you can also catch a ton of amazing content on Twitch. Again, with everyone quarantined, there's all these top players that are now streaming almost daily. You can watch Hikaru Nakamura basically anytime you want. Naroditsky, Nepomniachtchi, all these like super strong players. I think MVL was streaming. Carlsen streams occasionally. There's all these top players now and all these grandmasters that are streaming. You can basically watch them play pretty much 24/7, which is very, very cool because you can just watch a strong player play chess. You can try to learn from them. I mean, it's not going to be as effective as someone sitting down and working with you. But I've always found that watching strong players play is actually pretty interesting. And if you're really focused, put the chat away and just focus on the board, on their decisions, what they're doing, how they're playing. I think you can really get a lot out of it. And similarly, I think chess commentary is one of the most instructive things you could be watching. When I was trying to improve as a player around 1900, 2000, I think this was right when the St. Louis Chess Club was starting up. They were running the US Championships and they were doing this daily commentary with Yasser Seirawan, Jen Shahadi, Maurice Ashley. And I remember just watching hours and hours of that commentary and really learning a lot. And there are so many amazing commentators out there. I mean, Seirawan especially always brings his knowledge and his understanding to his commentary, and it's very, very interesting, and I think you can learn a lot out of it. But now Chess24 does some great commentary. Obviously, Svidler is an absolute genius at it. They've also had Peter Leko, who I personally think does some incredibly instructive stuff. And the thing about chess commentary now, in the past, if you didn't watch it when it's streamed, then you're kind of out of luck. But now all this stuff is like saved on YouTube. You can go to St. Louis's channel. Chess.com does a bunch of commentary as well. Chess24. You can watch old broadcasts. Okay, it's not going to be kind of as fun as watching it live. But if the point is to just try to learn about chess and learn about how strong players think about the position, then it doesn't really matter. You can just watch past broadcasts, focus on their analysis, focus on how they're approaching the position, what kind of moves they're suggesting, especially a guy like Peter Leko. He did a bunch of broadcasts for Chess24 in the last couple of years, and you can YouTube them. His stuff I really think is really, really instructive because he never holds back. He always talks about the openings and the middle games, what the plans are, what kind of moves players should be looking at it. And if you're really dedicated, but you don't have the money to spend on dedicated videos or courses or products, then I still think you can get quite a bit of value just from watching free commentary. And now, of course, with ChessDojo up and running, you should definitely join our Discord channel where you can find other players to talk to. It's absolutely free. You can find training partners, and we're going to be streaming a lot of educational content We're really focused on tournament chess, classical chess, improving your game overall. We're not so much concerned with the blitz side because we feel like there are tons of other channels that do that. But if you're interested mainly in just improving your thought process and your longer classical time control chess, then obviously you should check out this channel and our Twitch page as well. Alright guys, so that basically wraps it up for this video. I hope you found it useful. If there is anything that I didn't mention, do feel free to ask me about it in the comments and I'll gladly give you my opinion on it. I tried to only focus on the sites and apps that I personally have experience with, so it's not to just give my opinion on everything, but if there's something you want me to check out, something that you're interested in, do ask me a question in the comments and I'll get back to you. So to sum up, all the chess content you need to master chess, reach your full potential is already out there. A lot of it is very, very cost effective. Some of it is basically free. And the only question is if you're able to dedicate some time, study something consistently, and then I think you'll be able to make some real progress. With that, I wish you guys the best of luck. Stay healthy and have a good one. Take care.